So hello, I'm Gareth. I'm now playing Cloud Cred Pro, the Pro League. You may know me from a few other places, the OpenTech Cast, or even a local VMUG if you're based here in the UK. So I just thought I'd do a quick video to introduce myself, the whole Cloud Cred kind of thing that we've got going on, and also just really to kind of get people a bit prepped to kind of play along, really. So one of the questions I get quite often is what constitutes a home lab. For me, this is many things. I do have some proper servers. I have a high-end PC, and also my kind of what I fell in love with first, which runs most of my stuff day to day, are these lovely little boxes, the little Intel NUCs. So I have a couple of these that run all the time, and run the majority of my things. And I'll go over a few things that you kind of want to get you going anyway. It's quite nice if you've got another PC to migrate some of the things into that as we kind of go along the build steps. And again, another thing that I have quite often is this high-end laptop. Some of you may well have seen this. It's actually something I took to one of the VMUGs as if again, there's a magic down here. We do also have a VR headset, which if you follow Alan Renouf at all, you'll notice he has a very cool product where you can actually start playing with your VMs in a VR world. I've got a bit on my blog about that, so I highly suggest you go there. Speaking of which, if I, as if by magic, as we're all trying this and we're getting a bit used to this. You see I'm actually using multiple machines to do this stream. If I go over here, and here is my blog, and actually I do have, keep scrolling through and do actually search for it. It's actually one of the things that's hit quite often. I've got a whole bit here about the VR data center game. It's actually quite fun. Got a video of me doing it as well, so that's a great laugh actually. I suggest anyone gives that a go. If you do have a VR headset, and there's also me here doing it at the VMUG. You can find me blogging most of the time at virtualisedfruit.co.uk. So that's usually where you find me. So what we'll do is quickly we'll go into some of the content. The first thing to start building your lab out is you're going to need a domain controller for a couple of reasons. Mainly being DHCP and DNS for most people getting started. If you're not au fait with networking, I actually have a layer 3 network here with a firewall and switch, and that does a lot of my DHCP for me, but this is another method. And again, one of the questions that comes up quite a lot on one of our other websites, which is Open Home Lab, which I hope to get back online soon, so that has some tips and tricks on there, which we started as a VMUG. Is where do you get your licenses from? Some companies offer their tech guys an MSDN. Unfortunately, TechNet subscribers, many of you might remember this, is no longer. But this is also a good way of getting up and going. You can quite literally go on here, scroll down to Windows Server. I just typed in Microsoft Eval Center, and here we go. We've got a few flavors here. I'm going to select Windows Server 2019, wait for it to have a bit of a ponder, and there we go. There's our ISO. We hit continue, fill in a few bits of details, and you get a copy of ISO. It does re-trigger every so often, so without a full legit license key, you have to remember that you will get it rebooting every so often. I think it's after the first 90 days. You can rearm it a few times, and then start again. But by then there's usually another version of the ISO out, and probably another version of a Windows Server. When it comes to hardware, I'm going to go back to these. I can get most of my stuff running on these. These here. Actually, I'm going to go back to my other screen. If you've never seen inside one of these, I'll hold it up here. So this is an Intel NUC. In there, I've got a NVMe drive down in here, which is a really nice fast solid state drive, and also my normal SSD in here. I've got a 256 gig NVMe and a 512 gig SSD. and I've also got 32 gig of RAM in this specific one. I've gone for some quite quick RAM for its time, some HyperX. But again, the thing with most of these labs, compute CPUs are going to help, but I always seem to run out of RAM. No matter what I do, you seem to run out of RAM. RAM's always your biggest budget within any labs, or your budget constraints usually, be it cash or actually what you need. So if you are building your labs out, heist just buy as much RAM as you can. These NUCs, these are some slightly older ones, and you can see them going on eBay, or you check your Facebook groups. I've seen some of those go on there every so often, and also try again, here in the UK there's a second-hand shop called CEX. They occasionally seem to have some quite good kit there. Taken a similar approach with this laptop. This is a high-end i7 gaming laptop. I've popped an SSD in it. It's also got an NVMe slot, and again, bumped up to 32 gig RAM. So if I'm doing a few lightweight labs and nested things, just to try and teach people and show them how to do things, I can do it on there. Fortunately, the camera can't see it. My main rig day to day, the big Xeon workstation. It's a bit monstrous, to say the least. I'm going to see if I can get something up here while we keep talking. I don't think I can at the moment, but I will get some imagery of that at the moment. That's got hundreds of over 100 gig of RAM in it, Xeon processor, a couple of NVMe slots, SSDs, the whole lot. I can nest most things on there. But for the videos, I've also managed to get hold of myself some proper DL380s, HPs. I did try and get hold of some Dells. Again, if we pop back to my browser window, if you are based in the UK, it's a really good website I've come across quite recently. If we pop back in here, Bargain Hardware. These guys seem to be really good. You see here, they've got different workstations. They're quite reasonable. Even when you're starting off, something like this Optiplex running a copy of VMware Workstation can be a really good way to start. Even if we just kind of quickly spec one of these up, go for like a B grade, it might have a few scuffs on it. Let's pump in 16 gig of RAM. 408 quid. Pop in a couple of SSDs in here as well. Even a 480 gig SSD is dropping in cost. We can even pop in another one by the looks of it as well. So it's again quite good. If you're doing some stuff on VMware, if you see these Quadro cards, these are quite good because you can actually pass them through to certain VMs, and you can do some stuff with VMware Horizon and the workspace later on. But even if you go here, I've been looking at for a little while, is maybe getting another one of these. Typically they're out of stock when I want to show anyone. Again, you can go back to here, rack servers. We can go into DL380. I think these are the ones I've got here, the P model possibly. Yep, that looks very similar to what I've got. Just click on here, you get small form factor, large form factor, so that can help with disks. Like even go here, you've got quad core processor, hex core, even 8 core. You can get a fairly good 8 core here. £60. The other thing to look on Home Labs is also your wattage on your CPU, because that's going to, of course, burn through your power bill. You can go crazy here with a 12 core. But even a good old-fashioned 8 core here, you could pop 2 in this one here. Which quickly spec some of this out. Couple of got some good RAM here. Again, low voltage is quite nice for labs if you're leaving it on all the time. Stick in a bit of RAM. We're jumping up to £612 here, but these units were a good couple of £1,000 in the day. And again, plenty of options for SSDs. Again, the one thing you can do with this is build one kind of main hypervisor host and do something called nesting. So you have a lot of storage, a lot of compute, a lot of RAM, and you can then subdivide that up, which is probably what you want to be learning to do anyway. So yeah, so I will go through building a domain controller at some point very briefly, and DNS. You will need both these. First of all, if you want to build the Windows VCSA, you're going to want it on the domain. And it also, if you're building the appliance, you'll also want DNS. DNS is absolutely key to getting the VM kind of up and going. Failures to do that can result in numerous amounts of errors, and also the biggest thing that many people forget is reverse DNS. Do check on that, as you may get some spurious errors along the way as well. So yeah, that's another thing to watch out for. The next big thing that, of course, I'm going to have to cover is VMware licensing. You've also got the trials, which is great. They keep you going for between 30 and 90 days, depending on what you're going for. But I got to give a good shout out to the VMware guys. You know, this isn't very expensive. It's about $200, converts back. There's always vouchers out there, and this is great. The best thing about this is it gives you a whole year's access to VMware's licensing. So you get vCenter Server, vSAM, which is something I use quite a lot in a lot of my things. So I will be going over that quite a bit going into this. And again, personal desktop. This is great for the nesting, and if you have a big machine. I use Workstation on my main desktop under here, and also on the Mac, as you can see my desktop here. I will also use Fusion Pro to run some of my VMs. So yeah, there's that, and of course, you know, there's many other bits you can start to tinker with. I will get some links up for some of this stuff as well, hopefully addressing some of the things. If you bear with me 2 seconds, I'm just going to double check the price on that. So if you bear with me a second, I'm sure it was $200 last time I checked. It's unfortunate timing at the moment. Oh, the other thing as well, actually, I'm going to drag this across here. This isn't affiliated with VMware at all. You do get many certifications, training courses, and of course VMware discount. That's really, really handy, and that's a stackable code. So if you do get other perks through your work, that's quite a good one to still have anyway. That can still, even in its own right, pay its way back if you do get a chance to go to VMware. So of course, you will need to sign up for the trials anyway. So I'm just going to quickly get up one of the sites you'll need. So one thing you will find is this here. Let's drag this across. Is this. You're going to need the vCenter server, so you will need to get yourself a trial if you don't already have it or have access to it at work. This has your appliance and your modules for Windows, and you'll also need a copy of ESXi. I will try and do another stream at some point over the next couple of days where I kind of go through the basics of setting this up. What happens, kind of, some of it might be a bit next finish, but hopefully this just gives a bit of an intro to me, a bit of an intro to my lab. As you can see, it's quite varied, and I'm hoping that it's kind of starts spurring a few people on. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, which I do have a set up for this account. I'm not checking it as much, but if you do reach out at GarethEdwards86 or reach out to me on my blog, I'm quite happy to answer any questions. I just download all these little bits before I go on to my next video. At least you got all the ISOs and little things there. But it does take me on to something. Bear with me 2 seconds. So here is a good old Yoda. Migrate to VCSA. You should. If you haven't already done so, you sat on an older version of VMware, say 5.5, 6. You're going to go up to 6, 7 as we kind of go through this. Highly suggest going to the appliance. Expect to do it now than never. The next version of vCenter will not have the Windows version. I usually use the appliance because it's quite lightweight. It saves on a Windows license, etc., etc. But as part of the series, I usually deploy the appliance straight away. But I will probably this time around actually try and deploy it and do the upgrade. Just try and get everyone familiar, and hopefully I'll have some resources on that, as that is one thing, or rather a couple of things you really need to keep an eye out on is the compatibility matrix. Do go on here. This is absolutely essential. Let me bring that back up. This is absolutely essential for any upgrades. It's always worth checking, even jumping between here. I'm pretty certain actually, so my kit is probably out of date before long. So DL380, I'm pretty certain I'm not far off. So you've got Gen 10s there, Gen 9s, and I've got a sneaky suspicion technically my Gen 8s are not going to be on this HCL, as you can see. We'll run it, of course, but if you do then log a case with VMware, you're not going to get much help. Well, they will try and help, of course, because VMware are helpful chaps and chapesses, but you might not get the best out of it and the best for the hardware. And I'm just going to also check one other thing. There's also a really good fling, or VMware fling as they call it, over here. This is a great way of just checking that everything's validated. So if you don't want to go through all that, you can also run this, and it will tell you what's right, what's wrong, and you can catch up that way. But yeah, thank you for joining me on the first stream. Hopefully it's a good little intro to me and kind of what we're going to be going over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to probably rebuild all these. You can see they're all in pieces on my desk at the moment, so we're going to be starting again. The other big thing to get is also with this is USB sticks. You need a lot of these for installing onto especially the NUCs. The really good thing is with some of the recent installers, that not everyone knows this, is if you use something like Rufus on Windows, sorry, excuse me, to get the image onto USB stick, you don't actually need two on a NUC anymore. If you put it in and hit install, right back to USB, it loads it into RAM, puts it on there, and there's no need to swap around USB sticks. Again, I believe you can, again with the HP servers I've got SD cards in there, so that saves on some hard drive space. But yeah, overall, hopefully this is a good start, and again, I look forward to seeing some of my fellow streamers on here. Two of the guys from the local VMUG that I also have on here is Andy Nash and Rob Bishop. Do check out their streams, as I know they're gonna certainly challenge me at points. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed.